Hi, good evening. My name is Mohit Kumar Sharma. I'm second year medical student. Can I know your name and age, please?
My name is Jatin, 21 years.
Okay, nice to meet you, Jatin. Is it okay with you if I start by asking you some questions?
Yes.
Do you smoke?
No.
Do you consume alcohol?
No.
Have you taken any caffeinated drink before you come here?
No.
Any exercise?
No.
Thank you for clarification, Mr. Jatin. Now I'm going to examine your blood pressure.
Yes.
Inflating it around your arm, listening pulse. It might be a little bit uncomfortable. That's okay with you?
Yes.
Take rest for 5 minutes.
Okay.
Can you pop your arm on the table? Check the cup size.
Width of the inflatable bladder of the cup should be about 40% of upper arm circumference. With the arm at heart level, center the inflatable bladder over the brachial artery. The lower border of the cup should be about 2.5 cm above the antecubital crest.
Touch the radial pulse.
As you palpate the radial artery with the finger of one hand, rapidly inflate the cuff until the radial pulse disappears. Read this pressure on the manometer and add 30 mm of Hg. Inflate cuff until you no longer feel the radial pulse. Reading when the pulse disappears.
Stethoscope over brachial artery.
Now place the bell of the stethoscope lightly over the brachial artery, taking care to make an air seal with the full rim. Inflate the cuff again rapidly to the target level, that is 150, a rate of about 2 to 3 mm of Hg per second. Note the level when you hear the sound of at least 2 consecutive beats. This is systolic pressure. Continue to deflate the cuff slowly until the sounds become muffled and disappear. To confirm the disappearance point, listen as the pressure falls another 10 to 20 mm of Hg. Then deflate the cuff rapidly to zero. This the appearance point, which is usually only a few mm of Hg below the muffling point, provide the best estimate of diastolic pressure.
Thank you. Your complete procedure. Thank you.
Hi, good evening. My name is Jaydev Singh. I am second year medical student. So can you let me know your name, please?
Yes, Mr. Shine,
Okay, thank you. Your age, please.
25 years old.
Okay, thank you. Is it okay with you? I will start by asking some questions.
It's okay.
Do you smoke?
No,
Do you consume alcohol?
no.
Yeah, that's nice. Now I am going to perform your eye examination. So during examination, if you feel any discomfort, just let me know so that I can stop examination. Thank you. Can you hold it and cover it with your left eye and look at the Snellen chart? Take the smallest line.
D E A P O T E.
D E. Look directly into my eyes. Just let me know whenever you see my pinky finger. Okay.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Now cover with your right eye.
There is no visual field defects on this patient.
Yes.
Now I am inspecting eyelids. I can see there is no edema. To check process, I will measure the eyelids with the scale. Directly into my eyes.
This patient eyeball is intact.
Look at the tip of the finger and follow the tip of the finger as it moves
We
forward to
can
you.
see there is no defect with eyeball. Inspecting eyeglasses. As I can see the color of sclera is white. The color of palpebral conjunctiva is pinkish.
Can you look both sides?
There is no scars and no ulcers. Color of iris is light brown to black. Size of pupils is 4 mm.
I am going to switch off the light. Is it okay with you?
Always darken the room and use a bright light before deciding that a light reaction is abnormal or absent.
Can you look straight and follow the fingertips as it moves towards you?
Patient is asked to follow my fingers using 6 cardinal directions. As we can see, there is no problem with extraocular movement. Note the rim of the sclera from proptosis. Using the ophthalmoscope, starting from 0 diopter, now visualize the fundus, optic disc, fovea, then macula.
Okay, that's all for today. Thank you for your cooperation.
Hello everyone, today we are going to perform ear examination. Can I know your name?
Vibhanshu,
What's your age?
26.
Let's perform basic hearing test. For this test, I have to cover the outer parts of the ear and he has to repeat words after me.
Okay.
14,
14,
16,
16,
6,
6,
4,
4, 2.
Now I'm going to perform Weber test. For this test, I will put this vibrating tuning fork on his forehead. Now tell me which ear you feel the vibration.
In both ears.
Now I'm going to perform the Renit test. For this test, I will put this vibrating tuning fork behind his ear. Now you have to tell me when it stopped vibrating.
Stop.
Can you hear it now?
Yes.
Now I'm going to perform otoscopy, but first I need to take his permission. Can I use this instrument?
Yes, you can do.
First, we use the light of this otoscope to check any deformity in his external ear, like the color of the skin, alignment, odor or any infection. And now we didn't observe any deformity or any change in color in his external ear. Now we look for any site of infection in his inner ear. Now I'm going to use this otoscope to check his inner ear. We will not insert the whole part inside his ear. We'll just insert the base of this otoscope and put inside, and it will rest on his auricle. Now we'll check for any site of infection and we'll inspect the pinna, mastoid and preocular area using this otoscope. After the close infection of his inner ear, we didn't find any sign of infection or any abnormalities.
Good morning. Good morning. My name is Rohit Tripathi. I'm second year medical student. Today I'm going to do your neck and mouth examination. Can I know with your name and age, please?
My name is Siddharth and I'm 21 years old.
Okay. So, do you smoke?
No,
Do you consume alcohol?
no.
Okay. So, like while the examination, there might be some discomfort. Are you fine with it?
Yes, I'm fine.
Okay. Let's proceed.
So, okay, Siddharth, let's proceed with our mouth examination. Let's sanitize our hands.
Now let's proceed with your lips. And your mouth wider. Okay, makes sense. Okay. Easy. Okay, just yeah, that's fine. Okay. Okay. Now we'll go with the teeth. Okay. Can you open wide your mouth? Okay. Can you lift up your tongue? Okay, that's pretty nice, Siddharth. Thank you, sir. So now I'm going to see for your uvula, tonsils, pharyngeal walls. Okay. Lift up your. Okay. Can you say ah? Ah. Okay, Siddharth. Okay. Just say ah. Ah. Okay, that's fine. Thank you, Siddharth. Thank you. This is the last question for our mouth examination. Okay. Let's have your tongue procedure. Can you pull out your tongue? Okay, that's nice. Can you lift up your tongue? Okay, that's pretty nice. Okay.
Now we'll proceed with the neck examination. For that, we'll sanitize our hands.
Closer view. Okay, that's nice. That's pretty nice.
Inspecting for any asymmetry, unusual mass.
Thank you for that.
Now I'm performing palpitation of the neck.
Okay, so that's so now I'll see up to your lymph nodes.
Palpating the trachea for any deviation from its usual midline position by placing my finger along one side of the trachea and note the space between the sternocleidomastoid.
That. So now I'm going to see your thyroid gland. Can you please lift your head?
Inspecting the anterior lower half of the neck.
Can you move your head like this?
With a tangential lightning, I inspected the region below the cricoid cartilage to identify the contours of the gland.
Now, Siddharth, can you like sip water for me? Just move your head like that.
With this sipping water technique, I watched for upward movement of the thyroid gland if it's there any contour or any
Thank you,
unsymmetry.
sir.
So this technique is basically performed best from the behind of the patient. So I ask the patient to sip a water to feel for the thyroid isthmus rising under my finger pads, but actually it's not always often palpable. Then I displace the trachea to the right with the fingers of the left hand, with the right hand fingers palpating laterally for the right lobe of the thyroid in the space between the displaced trachea and the relaxed sternocleidomastoid, and vice versa.
Thank you, Siddharth.
Good afternoon, my name is Dr. Mulchan, one of medical students. This is my patient, Mr. Brijesh Kumar.
Yes,
Nice to meet you. How old are you?
35-year-old.
Okay, if I ask you some questions.
Yes,
Do you smoke?
sometime,
Do you drink alcohol?
sometime.
Okay, thank you so much. Your thorax and lungs examination. Do you have any chest pain?
Normal.
And do you have any problem in breathing?
No.
Okay, thank you so much for your answer, Mr. Brijesh Kumar. Now I am going to start physical examination on your lungs. It's okay with you? If you feel any uncomfortable, then tell me.
During inspection, observe the rate, rhythm, depth and effort of the breathing. Also color of the fingernails. During palpation, identify tender areas. To assess lung expansion, place your thumbs at the level of 10th rib. Ask the patient to inhale and exhale. Percussion helps you establish whether the underlying tissues are air-filled, fluid-filled or consolidated. Using the pleximeter finger, percuss one side of the chest and then the other at each level in a ladder leg pattern.
Can you breathe out?
Diaphragmatic excursion is used to determine the level of diaphragmatic dullness during quiet respiration. Now estimate the extent of diaphragmatic excursion by determining the
Breathe
distance
out.
between the level of dullness on full expiration and then level of dullness
Breathing.
on full inspiration, normally about 3 to 5.5 centimeter. Auscultation is the most important examination assessing airflow through the tracheobronchial bridge. The posterior chest wall surface, it involves 10 sides. Ask the patient to breathe deeply
say
through
E for
one
me?
open mouth. For egophony, ask the patient to say EE. You will normally hear the muffled long E sound.
Can you say 99
Bronchophony,
for
ask
me?
the patient to say 99. The sounds transmitted through the chest wall. Louder voice sounds are called bronchophony.
99.
Whispered pectoriloquy, ask the patient to whisper 99. Whispered voice is normally heard faintly and distinctly, if at all.
Hello, my name is Navneet and today I'm going to conduct our cardiovascular examination. And is it okay with you?
Yes.
And before the examination, can you please tell me your name and your age?
My name is Manamit Tirki and I am 18 years old.
Okay, so let's get on with the examination. Thank you.
For our first examination, I'll inspect and palpate of the neck vessels. First, position the patient in 30 degrees supine and illuminate with the pen light obliquely. You'll be able to see the external jugular vein and mark the superior end with a marker. For the next examination, I'll measure the jugular venous pressure. Place the ruler and align with something like this. Read the measurement of the ruler one and add 5 cm. In this case, the measurement is 2 cm plus 5 cm, that is 7 cm. Now, the palpation of carotid arteries. Use the right thumb to palpate the right carotid artery and second, third and fourth the left carotid artery. Do not palpate simultaneously. Now I will inspect and palpate the precondium. I'll use the tangential lighting to observe the apex. Next, I'll use second and third digit to palpate the apex for its amplitude and rhythm. And once done with palpation, mark it with an X. Using the intercostal space of the left midclavicular line, give the exact location of the apex. In this case, the apex is located at the 5th intercostal space and 7 cm from the midsternal line. Now I'll look for abnormal precordial pulsation. Place the hand on the left lower sternal border and reach for the apex with the fingertips. In abnormal conditions, you'll feel a thrust. And then also palpate the aortic valve for A2, pulmonic valve for P2, and the apex for S3. Now apply the Palmer base over all the areas of the valve and look for thrills. Start with the aortic area, then pulmonic area, and then apex, and lastly the left mid axillary line. Now coming to the auscultation, position the patient and place the bell over the apex and count the rate per minute. In this case is 70 beats per minute. Now identify the first and second heart sounds. Place the bell over the apex and the base. While listening generally, place your left index and middle finger on the carotid artery. Now ask the patient to take a deep breath and towards the end of inspiration, note for any splitting of S2. In this case, it was normal. Now ask the patient to sit and lean forward and gently place the bell over the apex and listen for the S3 and S4 sounds. Now auscultate for the murmurs using inching technique. Place the diaphragm over the base starting with the aortic valve, then pulmonary, then tricuspid, then mitral valve, and listen it carefully for several respiratory cycles. If murmur is heard, listen for radiation by inching laterally. In this case, no murmur was heard. Thank you.
So this is Sahu Satish. Now I'm gonna have the abdominal exam. So what is your name?
Rahul Misra.
So do you have any pain in the abdomen?
No.
If you feel any discomfort, then let me know.
Okay, sure.
Make the patient comfortable in the supine position with the pillow under the head and perhaps under the knees. Before you begin, ask the patient to point out the areas of pain. For inspection, first observe the general appearance of the patient. From the right side of the bed, inspect the surface and movement of the abdomen. Watch for bulges and peristalsis. Now inspect the umbilicus. First observe its contours and location and any inflammation or bulges. Auscultation provide important information about bowel motility. Auscultate the abdomen before performing percussion or palpation maneuver. Now place the diaphragm of the stethoscope gently on the abdomen and listen for the bowel sounds. Now percussion. Percuse the abdomen lightly in all four quadrants. Examine the distribution of tympani and dullness. Briefly percuse the lower anterior chest above the costal margin. On the right you will find usually dullness of the liver, and on the left the tympani that overlie the gastric air bubbles and splenic flexor of the colon. Keeping your hands and forearms on horizontal plane with finger together and flat on the abdominal wall, palpate the abdomen with light gentle dipping motion and move your hands to different quadrants of the skin, gliding smoothly. Palpate it in all four quadrants. Again, using the palmar surface of your finger, press down in all four quadrants, identify any mass, note down their location, size, shape, consistency, tenderness. Now percuse the span of the liver, locate the mid-clavicular line striking a level below the umbilicus in the right lower quadrant in the area of tympani. Percuse up to the liver. Next, identify the upper border of the liver dullness standing at the nipple line. To palpate the liver, pass your left hand behind the lower thorax, lifting up the 11th and 12th rib overlying soft tissue. Press your right hand just below the right upper quadrant level to rectus abdominis muscle and press gently into the abdomen. First, percuse the left lower anterior chest wall roughly from the order of the cardiac dullness at the 6th rib to the anterior axillary line and down the costal margin, which is the Trobes space. Begin palpation low enough so that you can detect the spleen. If your hands is too close to the costal margin, you will not be able to reach the rib cage. Ask the patient to take deep breath. Try to feel the tip or edge of the spleen. Percuse the border of the tympani and dullness with the patient supine and ask the patient to roll on to one side, percuse and mark the borders again. Ask the patient to press the edges of both the hands firmly down the midline of the abdomen. This pressure helps to stop the transmission of waves through fats. Place the hands above the patient's right knee and ask the patient to raise the thigh against your hands. Alternately, ask the patient for the left side. To assess the obturator sign, first reflex the patient's right thigh at the hip within the knee bend and rotate the leg internally at the hip. Hook your left thumb or finger of the right hand under the costal margin at the point where the little border of the rectus intersects with the costal margin alternatively. Palpate the right upper quadrant with the fingers of the right hands. Watch the patient breathing and note the degree of tenderness.
Hi, this is Mohammad Mubashir. I'm one of the medical students. Today I'm going to examine your shoulder and your wrist. For that, may I know your name?
My name is Basit.
Okay, what's your age, Basit?
My age is 22.
Okay, Basit, that's fine. So let's begin with the shoulder examination. For that, I need to ask you a few questions. Like, do you have any past history of any accident you met with?
No.
No. Or is there any pain or inflammation in your shoulders? No. Then fine, let's have the examination. Let's begin with the examination. For that, we need to remove the teeth. Are you fine with it?
Yes.
Okay, let's go. Cross body adduction. To conduct this test, first we need to elevate the arm to 90 degrees. Then we need to have a maximum horizontal. If there is a pain in the shoulder or the right side of the AC joint, then it's the normal Apley scratch test. It combines the rotation with extension and adduction and lateral rotation with flexion and adduction. Those are the typical movements often seen in tasks like reaching for your back pocket or combing your hair. For the Apley scratch test, the patient is going to bring the hands together on the back while one hand comes from above and one from below. And the patient should repeat the movement with switched arm while you are going to check for differences. To conduct the knee test, have your patient in sitting position and then perform maximal force forward flexion in the juvenile joint. A positive test is pain reproduction on the injured side. Drop arm test. To perform the drop arm test, have your patient in standing or sitting position and bring the affected arm into 90 degrees of abduction and external rotation passively. Then tell your patient to hold this position and release your support. This test is positive for full thickness tears of supra and infra's bitterness if the patient is unable to slowly control the downward movement. To perform the test, have your patients affected extremely extended so that the wrist remain at the edge of the treatment table. The arm is positioned with ulnar aspect of the forearm on the table and the ulnar aspect of the hand hanging off the edge. The forearm is maintained in neutral in the first step and the patient pain is assessed with gravity assigned general. Active ulnar deviation at the wrist. This version is suitable for patients who is present in the acute phase. This test is positive if the patient reports pain aggregation at the tip of the steroid position. Tenal sign. To perform the test, tap over the carpal tunnel of the wrist. Suggest to the tap along with the whole distribution of medial nerve from the index towards the elbow. The test is positive for carpal tunnel syndrome if tingling or paresthesia is felt in the thumb, index finger, middle finger and the lateral half of the ring finger, which is distribution of the medial nerve. Thus, this is called tenal sign. Fallon test. To perform the Fallon test, ask your patient to flex his wrist maximally and hold the dorsal side of his hands together for 1 minute. The test is positive if the patient experiences tingling in the thumb, index finger, middle finger and the lateral half of the finger, which indicates carpal tunnel syndrome by pressure on the median nerve. With this, we complete all our examinations and thank you for your support. Thank you.
Hi, I am Dr. Pranesh. This is Kami. Today we came for near risk examination, right? Okay, first we will go with inspection. Could you raise your both hands? Okay, there is no any deformities, there is no any muscle atrophy, and there is no any nodules. Okay, next we are going to do range of motions of thumb. Flexion, extension, abduction, adduction, opposition. Okay, next we are going to do range of motions of PAP, DIP, NCP joints. Raise your both hands. Flexion, extension, abduction, adduction. Okay, next we are going to do range of motion. Could you raise your both hands and do what I do? Flexion, extension, ulnar deviation, radial deviation.
Next, I am going to perform special maneuver of the wrist to detect carpal tunnel syndrome. First, I am going to perform the tenal sign. Raise your hand. Do you feel any pain? No, doctor. Seems patient has no pain. Next, we are going to perform the Fallon sign. Do like this and hold it for 60 seconds. Do you feel any pain? No. It denotes that there is no carpal. Next, we are going to perform knee examination, inspection. First, I am going to inspect the patient with supine position. There is no erythema, swelling and deformities and atrophy of quadricep muscles. Suprapatellar pouch. There is no any thickening, swelling or warmth. Next, we are going to palpate the lateral and medium meniscus. In this case, the patient doesn't feel any pain, so it seems that to suggest there is no partial tear. Next, we are going to palpate tibio and femoral joints. There is no irregular bony ridges. We are going to palpate collateral ligament. Seems the patient doesn't feel any pain and there is no any point of tenderness.
Next we are going to do range of motion of knee. For that, extension, so like flexion, internal rotation, external rotation. We are going to do special maneuvers in knee. In that, first we are going to do McMurray test. So could you raise your hand?
There is no click during examination. It denotes that there is no deformities in medial and lateral. we are going to perform drawer sign. In that anterior drawer sign, there is no anterior cruciate ligament here.
Posterior drawer test. Do you feel anything? There is no posterior cruciate ligament here. Next, we are going to perform valgus stress test.
The patient doesn't feel any pain. Seems there is no medial collateral ligament here. Test. In this, there is no lateral collateral ligament here.
My name is Anvesh. Can you please tell your name and age, please? Now I am performing cranial nerves 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 and lower extremities. Cranial nerve 1 olfactory. Now I am checking the patent of the each nostrils. Can you please sniff? Can you please sniff? Can you please close your both eyes? Now I am placing the familiar object to you. Please sniff and identify. So now I am placing the other object. Please sniff and identify. Close. Please open your eyes. Cranial nerve to optic visual acuity. There should be 20 feet distance between the patient and the Snellen chart. Can you please close your right eye with your right palm? Read from top to bottom.
Yes, please.
Stop. Can you repeat the process with the other eye?
Yes, please.
Stop. For near reaction, can you please use this sentence?
Acidophils are primarily
Please stop.
stomatophils.
Visual field. Look straight and do not move your head. Say yes if you see my wiggling of my fingers on your both eyes.
Yes. Yes.
Now I am performing ophthalmoscopic examination. Can you please look forward, straight? I am checking for red reflexes. I am going for deeper inspection. Can you please look into my eyes? Now I can see the optic disc, arteries and veins. We should repeat the process with the other eye with the left hand and the left eye. Cranial nerve, optic and oculomotor. Now I am checking the size of the pupil. It's between 3 and 5 and it's normal. Now I am performing direct and consensual reaction. The light which I focused on the eye is called direct and the other is called consensual. We should repeat the process to the other eye. For convergence, look at the tip of the pen and follow. Both eyes are following. For accommodation, look at the tip of the pen and the wall, and the pen and the wall. Both pupils are constricting. Cranial or oculomotor, trochlear and abuse center. Extraocular movement, there should be 2 feet distance from the patient. Now please follow the tip of the pen with your eyes without moving your head. There is no nystagmus and it's normal. For convergence, look at the tip of the pen and follow. Both eyes are following. And I am checking for the ptosis. There are no ptosis and it's normal. Lower extremities L2, L3, L4 iliopsoas. Please raise your leg, I'll oppose. Okay, please be normal. Adduction L2, L3, L4 adductors. Please oppose my pressure. Okay, please be normal. Hip abduction L4, L5, S1 gluteus medius and minimus. Spread your legs. Okay, please be normal. Hip extension S1 gluteus maximus. Please oppose my pressure. Okay, please be normal. Knee extension L2, L3, L4 quadriceps. Try to straighten your leg. Okay, please be normal. Knee flexion L4, L5, S1, S2. Hamstrings. Please bend at your knee. Okay, please be normal. Foot to dorsiflexion L4, L5 anterior tibialis. Please oppose my pressure. Okay, please be normal. Foot to plantar flexion gastrocnemius and soleus. Please oppose my pressure. Okay, please be normal.
Hi, this is Naveen, second year medical student. May I know your name and age, please? My name is Sunil, 18 years old. Today we are going to examine cranial nerves. Is it okay with you? Okay. We will start in few minutes. Cranial nerves 9 and 10, which are
glossopharyngeal and vagus nerves mediates the sensory and motor function of the palate, pharynx and larynx. To test these nerves, ask the patient to say yawn as you observe the soft palate and pharynx. The soft palate should rise properly and symmetrically. The vulva remains in the midline. Each side of posterior pharynx moves medially like cotton. To test the gag reflex, stimulates the back of the throat lightly on each side and note the gag reflex. From behind, ask the patient to shrug his shoulder upward against your hands. During this maneuver, evaluate the strength and contraction of the trapezius muscle. From in front of the patient, ask the patient to turn the head each side against your hands. Observe the contraction of the opposite sternomastoid muscle and notice the force of the movement against your hands. Hypoglossal nerve mediates the tongue's motor function, which sometimes affects the articulation of words. First, listen to articulation of patient's words. Inspect the patient's tongue as it lies on floor of mouth. Observe for atrophy and fasciculation. Ask the patient to stick out his tongue. Ask the patient to move the tongue from side to side. And now begin assessing deep tendon reflex by testing the biceps reflex. The patient arm must be relaxed, partially flexed at the elbow and positioned with the palm down. Depress the biceps tendon with your thumb and index finger. Strike your thumb and finger briskly with reflex hammer. And now you should be able to see the biceps muscle contract and see flexion of the forearm. And now repeat the same procedure for the other side of the hands as well. And now assess the triceps reflex. Flex the patient arm at the elbow with the palm towards the body and pull the arm slightly towards the chest. Strike the tricep tendon above the elbow. Watch for the contraction of triceps muscle and extension at the elbow. And now to elicit the supinator and brachioradialis reflex, the patient forearm should be rested on the abdominal lap with the forearm partly pronated. When the patient is ready, strike the radius 1 or 2 inches above the wrist. Observe for the flexion and supination of the forearm. Repeat the same for the other side of the hand as well. To test for the knee reflex, locate the patellar tendon with the patient knee, flex it briskly. Tap the tendon just below the patella. Note the contraction of the quadriceps and look for the quick extension of the knee. A hand on the anterior thigh let you know to feel this reflex. If the patient is sitting, partially dorsiflex the foot at the ankle. Persuade the patient to relax. Strike the Achilles tendon and watch and feel the plantar flexion at the ankle. Also note the speed of relaxation after the muscle contraction.
Hello, my name is Sarab Kaisar. I am one of the medical students. May I know your name and duty, please?
My name is Fahad Kaisar and my degree is L7.
Okay, so Fahad, today we are going to test the cerebral testing on you. So, are you comfortable with it?
Yes.
Do you have any pain or something?
No.
Okay, so we will start from the gate first. Okay?
Yes.
Now touch my index finger, from your index finger, and then touch your nose. Just keep back and forth. Now just repeat the process before that. Now put your heel on your knee and then slide it down. Okay, let's repeat the process. Okay, let's do it with the other leg. Same process. Now I'm going to assess the gait of the patient. Just walk back and forth for several times. Now do the pendulum walk. Now walk, just walk on your toes. Now just walk on your heels. Now just perform the shallow knee bend test. Just close your eyes and move your feet together. Okay, now I'm going to check your reflexes, okay? Okay, my name is Saraf Kaisar. I am one of the medical students. May I know your name and duty, please?
My name is Fahad Kaisar and my duty is 10/7/2000.
Okay, so Fahad, today we are going to examine the sensory system and your reflexes. So, do you have any questions about that?
No.
Okay, are you comfortable with it?
Yes.
Now I am going to start the physical examination. Just let me know if you feel any discomfort. I will end the examination if you feel any discomfort. Okay? Thank you. Okay, so now we are going to do the light touch with the use of cotton swab, and this test is used for tactile sensation. Okay? Now I am going to do the pain sensation. Okay? So just tell me if you feel sharp and just tell me if you feel dull. Okay? Just close your eyes first.
Sharp, dull, 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 sharp, dull.
Here I am doing the vibration test using the tuning fork.
Okay, now I am going to check the position test. Okay, so just tell me in which direction your thumb moves. Okay? Close your eyes.
Upward, downward, upward, downward, upward, downward, upward, downward.
Now I am going to check the 2-point discrimination test. Okay, so just tell me if you feel the needle. Just close your eyes first.
2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1.
I'm going to do the point localization test. Okay, just close your eyes first.
Right, left, right, left.
Graphesthesia. Just close your eyes. Just tell me what I am drawing. Okay.
A, D, B, U.
Now I am going to do the extinction phenomenon. Just close your eyes first. Tell me if you feel my hand.
Yes, right, left, right, both, right, left, right,
Left. Both.
Let's complete the examination. Thank you very much.